You are now tuned in to Flavor by Favorite episode 3. How are y'all doing today? You are now tuned in to Flavor by Favorite episode 3, a place where you can just kick back, relax, and enjoy a good vibe. The show for the survivors, underdogs, and those into elevation, authenticity with a different awareness. How are y'all doing tonight? Or it's not tonight. I'm actually recording a little earlier than I usually record. I am Miss Black, the covered one, led to inspire. I hope everybody has been having a wonderful Sunday today. Today is Sunday, March 30th, 2025. I hope everyone has been having an amazing day. Or, like I always say, if you follow me, I hope everyone else is having the day that they have deserved. You feel me? Like I said, you are now tuned in to Flavor by Favorite, episode 3. The topic of today is revolving doors, negative repetitive cycles. Ooh, I don't know if y'all just heard that. Oh, got stuff falling off and whatnot, but negative repetitive cycles, revolving doors. I don't know if you know what a revolving door is. You know, the doors in some of these fancy restaurants or fancy hotels or whatnot, the revolving doors where you step in and it just goes around and around and you have to find your way out. You have to push the door and it goes in a circle. That is a revolving door. Let's get the definition from online. Patterns, behaviors, thoughts, and emotions that continue to produce negative outcomes in your life. This can be internal or external. It could come from things like relationships. When I say relationships, that can mean friends, family, lovers, anybody that you may come into contact with on a more of a day basis or more from time to time, who have access to being able to treat you this and that type of way. That's what I'm talking about when I say relationships. Also, how you have been treated in the past. Things that have made you create the shell that you have put yourself into. How you have been treated in the past, maybe at work or at school growing up, at home growing up, things like that. But also, how you treat yourself or how you have treated yourself can contribute to the revolving doors that you may be going through. But it may be something. It has to be something that you have come into contact with. A situation that has affected you in such of a way that you feel trapped. And that you're going in circles, round and round and round and round. That you're going in circles in life and cannot seem to break out of this negative cycle that you have been going in. Anything that may impact you negatively, mentally, emotionally, or it may have been emotionally triggering. Anything of that nature. Anything that may have contributed to causing anxiety, depression, or stress in your life. All of these can contribute to the negative revolving doors that you have been going in that you cannot or have not either identified, or you have identified it and you're just unable or have not been able to get out of it. Okay? So anything that traps you in a negative cycle of thinking or behaviors that aren't good for you. Anything that leads you to go and be something that is not true to who you really are can be considered a reason why you continue to have these negative cycles or revolving doors that you go around and round and round. Some of the reasons why people or you may allow yourself to continue to get stuck in these cycles. Past traumas, childhood traumas is what I said. So, say you grew up in a house where you didn't get a lot of praise, but you tried hard and hard. You did everything those are things that also lead to people pleasing. If you have found yourself as an adult people pleasing, trying to make everybody happy, and sometimes this people pleasing isn't about making everybody happy, but about more of not getting the response that you got in that traumatic moment that caused you to even develop that shell in the first place. So sometimes people pleasing as an adult is not about the other person, but you unintentionally are trying to avoid a response that you have gotten in the past that was traumatizing to you, or that affected you really negatively, that you hold on to and walk around with. Okay? So, unhealthy relationships. Let's start with relationships with family. Growing up, you may have been in a family where you were verbally abused, physically abused, or mentally abused, and you had a day where you said, I will no longer allow anybody else to play with me. So you developed this shell, and you walked around with this hard shell that you kept all throughout your life, all the way up until this point, that you didn't even know came from a unhealthy relationship growing up, a past trauma. Okay, another example for unhealthy relationships is love, of course. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. You may have been in several unhealthy relationships, or you may feel like you continue to come across the same person over and over again, and you get stuck in these cycles with these people because you love them so much, and you choose not to see who they truly are. So you have allowed yourself to get into this mindset of you think this person, or you've created this thing in your mind that this person is something that you just need, you can't live without, but you continue to go through negative cycles with this person. Say whether it's physical abuse, again, mental abuse, physical abuse, we're not putting up with that, but sometimes there are people out there who put up with that, and that is one of the negative cycles that you will continue until you stand up or identify or recognize, or you're just strong enough to walk away from it. You dig? Unhealthy relationships and friendships. Sometimes some people grew up and didn't have friends or whatnot, or they had friends, but you have friends that continue to do things to you negatively, or they pick at you or say weird stuff to you. They don't uplift you, things of that nature, but you continue to keep them around. But the things that they say and do to you continues to affect you negatively. Those are also negative cycles and revolving doors that you are allowing yourself to continue to be in. And unhealthy relationships come in all kinds of shapes and forms. It doesn't have to just be family. It doesn't have to just be lovers. It can be friends. It can be co-workers. It can be bosses. It can be all kinds of unhealthy situations that you just encounter on a day-to-day basis that you internalize, and it turns into things that we don't even know. But before it even turns into something that we don't even know about, we just continue to carry it over and over because we continue to go through the same situation over and over and over again. Okay? So, also, the negative things that we say to ourselves, the relationships that we have with ourselves, the relationships we have with ourselves can stem from the things that we have been through in life, the people we have came across, the environments that we grew up in, the environments that we find ourselves in on a day-to-day basis. So the things that you say to yourself matter. The things that you tell yourself can put you in a negative cycle that continues, and you continue to do self-destructing behaviors because of these negative things that you tell yourself. Some of the negative things that you may tell yourself is that you're unworthy, or that you deserve the treatment that you have been getting, that you know does not make you feel good, does not lead you to do good things or whatnot. We have to start learning who we are. We have to stop letting things, situations, people, or anything, we have to stop letting those things affect our self-esteem, self-confidence, or anything that has to do with how we love ourselves, how we carry ourselves. We have to learn how to get rid of those things, because some of those things are holding us back, and we don't even have to carry those things. We have to identify and learn how to deal with our past, the things that we have been carrying around in our baggage, the things that are keeping us in bondage, the things that are keeping us from growing or elevating to the level that we have been trying to get to. These revolving doors and negative cycles are hurting you. They are not taking you in the direction that you are trying to go. You may be someone who is starting to wake up and realize that, man, this can't be it in life. I know that this cannot be all. There is more for me. And you are tired of continuing to go into these negative cycles. You're starting to identify these negative cycles that you have been in. This is a part of some of the first steps of trying to change or get out of these revolving doors or negative cycles that we have been into. So we need to learn how to self-reflect. You can come home, you can have a full day of work. You could have had the worst day that you have had in a while, and you go home and you sit and you just play back all the negative things that have happened to you that day, right? And then you end up thinking about, oh my God, I've been through this before with so-and-so. This same thing has happened millions of times. This is a cycle I keep going through. Why do I keep coming across the same people that want to treat me the same kind of way? The same people that want to dominate me. The same people that want to try to tell me their trajectory of where my life is supposed to go, their idea of what you're supposed to be doing. You go home, you self-reflect. Self-reflection does not have to be sitting and sulking and putting the puzzle pieces together of how every single bad thing that you've ever been through, still you are feeling those types of things again. You don't have to live in those cycles. Self-reflection is you have a bad day. You come home, you think about what you've been through first and how it made you feel. You start to learn about yourself when you go even deeper and think about why you felt that way in that situation. What have you been through that has caused you to feel this type of way? And every time this situation continues to come around in a cycle, you react to it the same way. It puts you in a depression. It puts you in a place where you cannot function the way, in a healthy manner. Say it like that. In all honesty, most of the things that we go through teaches us something or pushes us to the path we are supposed to be on. Everything isn't just an attack on your life. We do go through things that we are supposed to go through that pushes us. It puts us in a bad enough state of mind to where it causes us to sit down, be still, and connect with our higher source, God, or whoever you choose or whoever you follow as your higher source. So some of those horrible times that put us in some of the worst places takes us back to our spirituality, or you have ventured off from the path that you have worked on or put time and effort into different dreams that you have worked on throughout your life, or sometimes you're just not happy or don't agree with where you have ended up. But sometimes it is because we are stuck in these negative headspaces that we have not allowed ourselves to expand to where we need to be so that we can get to the places that we're supposed to be in life, or that we feel we're supposed to be in life. That's another conversation. I go back on our plans. Our plans are not always God's plans. Our plans for ourselves are not always God's plans. So, but if we allow ourselves to learn lessons and not get stuck in the things that we have been through and playing our heads over and over, we have the opportunity to change some of the cycles, break some of the cycles that we have been stuck in. It's all about perspective, looking at the things you go through in a higher perspective instead of trying to connect every negative thing that you go through or everything that makes you feel uncomfortable or sad or a negative familiar feeling that you have already been through. Anything, you don't have to make those kind of connections every single time that's setting you back mind-wise. We have to learn how to think from a higher perspective, see things from a higher perspective. If you're someone who believes that everything happens for a reason and most things that you go through is a test, well, you have to walk that. When you're in the midst of the test, you do not have to fall apart. You don't have to fall apart during everything that you feel like is a test, or that life is testing you, or anything that you are feeling that you are going through. We don't have to stay there, but we do have to learn how to see things differently. If we have grown up seeing things in a negative light, everything is trying to hold me back, so-and-so is hating on me, God is against me, or any of these things that we tell ourselves, if we can learn how to not think that way or get out of that way of thinking and see things in a higher light, we could break some of these negative cycles that we have been going through. So don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. Don't let the bad times play over and over in your head. You are hurting yourself. If you go home after work every single day and you sit home and you get to have your alone time, and in that alone time, all you're doing is sitting and soaking on all the negative things you've ever been through, but you're never taking the time to reflect on why you feel this way, why it makes you feel this way, or why you even care that much about what somebody said to you that you know isn't true. If you do not get stuck there, or do not stay in those places, do not reflect on those when you're going through something else, don't make those connections. Try to think about other things, like why it could have happened. You can reflect, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't sit and reflect those things, because we are humans. We're going to think about them, but we don't have to get stuck in the negative way that it makes us feel. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? We have to learn ourselves and understand our feelings, or why we respond the way that we do to things. These are the type of things that you're thinking about when you self-reflect. Why is this making me feel this way? Why? You could wake up and be having an amazing day. You go outside and you have this neighbor that just gives you this dirty look every single time, and you're smiling, and you get outside and then you see them looking at you that way, and then you don't say anything. You go get in the car, but when you get in the car, you just feel like, oh my God, I am so tired of him looking at me like this. I haven't done anything to them, and da-da-da-da-da. You don't even know what their reason is, but you care enough to let it ruin your day. We doing it wrong. We doing it wrong. You don't have to let everything ruin your day. You don't have to know people's reasoning. If you know that you are someone who works on yourself, you pray or meditate or whatever you're into, if you know that you're not out here intentionally messing over people, but you continue to have people every day, it may be the same person who treats you negatively or mug you, or they just hate you for no reason, and you know you haven't done anything, why are you spending your time even caring? Why are you spending your time trying to figure out why they're treating you this way? If you really want to know, just ask them. Just ask them. You don't have to walk around beating yourself up trying to figure out why so-and-so doesn't like you, why so-and-so is treating you this way, why they continue to, why they're bringing everyone against you. If you really want to know, ask them. Ask them. Instead of letting it affect your day-to-day routine or how you feel about yourself, or keeping you from this happy, peaceful state that you have been trying to reach. Everything that makes you feel in this negative state, you have the ability to change. Go talk about it, communicate about it, go do something about it, instead of sitting and soaking on it or internalizing it, okay? You don't have to live your life like that. If you've been living your life like that and it's been miserable, get out of that cycle. Break that cycle. Change the way you are viewing the things that happen in your life. If it really bothers you, say something. It's that simple. If it's really bothering you, say something. We can go home and think of a million reasons why we think someone is treating us a certain type of way, whether it's a boss, a friend, a lover. We can come up with a million ideas in our head because we at home thinking about it. Instead of just asking the person, just ask them. 9 times out of 10, they don't even have a real reason of why they're acting like this with you. 9 times out of 10, it's not even about you. Okay? So we can eliminate a lot of the negative cycles in our life when we identify, reflect, and then find a solution to it. Cycles in our life when we identify, reflect, and then find a solution to it. Not sit and soak. We got to get out of the sit and soaking stage. We're into changing our mind frames. We're into seeing things from a higher light. If you're just now tuning in, this is Flavor by Favor. Flavor by Favor. I am Miss Black. Okay, Flavor by Favor. I try to do an episode a week, but right now we're talking about revolving doors and negative cycles. We have the control to break those, but we have to be able to identify when we are in those cycles. And the only way we're able to identify when we're in these cycles is by starting to learn yourself, starting to learn your triggers, reflecting. I come home every day. Believe it or not, I come home every day. When I get home, I sit and I reflect on my day. Whether I had a horrible day or a good day, I sit and reflect on it. I reflect on how I reacted to things. I reflect on some of the different feelings I may have had throughout the day. But when I get home, I reflect. I let that energy out, do what I need to do, pray, meditate, play with my baby, whatever makes me feel good, you dig. But what I tell myself, or if I had a bad day at work, I'll let myself reflect on it. Or if I had not just at work, a bad day in general, I will reflect on that day at the end of the day. And I'll see what it was that bothered me. If it was a situation or something, and I will literally sit and meditate on why it makes me feel this way. Why am I allowing this to make me feel this way? Because that was one of my biggest things. If you don't know, one of my biggest things on my journey was not about diving deep into spirituality. I can be honest. I did have this desire, but that's another story I'm going to tell another day. But in the beginning, one of my main things was not allowing people to have control of my feelings, being able to walk around how I want to feel, because too many people will tell you, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. And not a lot of the times for me, anything I do out of character is was in defense. I don't respond the way I used to. But now I'm trying to go back to opening my mouth and at least responding, but trying not to respond in such a negative way, but being as honest as I can and authentic as I can when I'm responding to something. Because, and I've told this story before, when the past few years, I had went silent. I shut up. I listened, I observed, I paid attention, I turned the other cheek, I did all of that because I thought that those things would get me closer to the peace that I was seeking. I thought if I just did not engage at all, everything would just solve itself, basically, which it does. But in certain cases, when you do that, especially in environments that you have to be on a day-to-day basis, when you continue to absorb things and turn the other cheek and not respond, sometimes people takes that as a weakness and they try to continue to attack that and attack that and attack that. Oh, she's not going to do anything. Oh, I can get away with this. Oh, I can unload my anger today. I don't feel good today, so I can take it out on this person because I know they're not going to. Some people take it as that, and that's not what it was. And I got sick of it. So I'm at the phase where I'm checking most of the stuff, checking it. If you make me feel some type of way, I'm gonna ask you about it. Did you mean it like this? Can you elaborate? Because I'm not trying to go home and have to think about it. So I'm gonna get it from you. I need to understand what you were saying in this moment, because this moment made me feel this way, and I don't want to take it into my own understanding. So I'll let you understand. Let you explain to me what you mean. It's okay to ask. You don't have to just, and I'm not saying just go and attack everything. But yes, you are allowed to ask people questions on what they mean. If it causes a confusion or some type of turmoil to stir up inside, you can ask about it. You don't have to keep internalizing and shutting up and going home and feeling some type of way because you didn't address it in the moment. I got tired of turning the other cheek. It's hard. It's hard on this journey to just continue to turn the other cheek and get attacked for different things. You can open up your mouth and ask, what did you mean by this? Because I feel like you meant it this way. But I give you the benefit of the doubt to tell me how you meant it. So that's what it be. But yeah, you in almost every situation of a negative cycle, you are in control of breaking that cycle. But you have to be willing to put in the work on yourself. And when you put in the work on yourself, whatever pushes you to start putting in the work on yourself, truly put in the work on yourself. Sometimes it'll just be you and God. That's it. You and God. So, and that, or you and your higher source, whatever you believe in. I believe in God. I have God in my higher sources. But whatever you may believe in, it may just end up being you and them, and that's it. Give me one second.